So the first thing that I'm going to do is, and we already did ahead of time, this spinach salad has hard-boiled eggs in it. And pretty much, I don't think I've ever met a salad that doesn't like hard-boiled eggs in them or in it. And this one, the whole combination of spinach and hard-boiled eggs and bacon really works. And I get questions about how do you boil hard-boiled eggs and get them the right way, because I think we've all boiled eggs and we've underboiled them or we overboiled them and they turn all gray. Well, I have a secret to hard boiling eggs, and what I do is I start the water boiling, I put in my eggs and then turn the water off and then let the eggs sit in that hot water, but not boiling water, for exactly 13 minutes. That's what I found works perfectly. It's my 13-minute hard-boiled egg, not 10, not 11, not 12, 13 minutes. I like to turn off the boiling water because then the eggs aren't crashing into each other and they really seem to stay intact. And then I like to peel the eggs when they're warm. I think that's a lot easier to peel up the eggs. So at this point, they've been in this very hot water. They came to a boil. We put our eggs in. And I just like to run some cool water over them. And then we'll get back to those eggs in just a minute. But I think it's so much easier to peel them right after you've cooked them. All right, you know me if you watch the show. I'm a huge fan of homemade salad dressings, and they're just not that hard to do. Once you get in the swing of things and get in the habit of making dressings, you'll never go back to the other, the bottled dressings. There's so many different chemicals in those dressings that we don't really know what they are. There's lots of sugar in a lot of the dressings. My kids aren't a big fan, never were a big fan of salads. Because of, I think, the bottled dressings. So I started getting into the habit of making my own dressings, and all of a sudden the kids started eating salads. A lot of those bottled dressings are really strong in flavor, and sometimes when you make your own dressings, they're a lot more mild. A lot of times I'll shake up a dressing in a glass jar, which works wonderfully. This I'm just going to whisk together in a bowl, but it'll all work no matter what. This is a sweet and sour dressing. It really goes nicely with this spinach salad. So we're going to start out with about 1/3 of a cup of ketchup. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. So it's sweet, it's sour, it's got lots of great flavor. The recipe calls for about, let me do a little bit more. It's not quite 1/3 of a cup, I think. Some minced onion. And I thought, my kids aren't big fans of onion, especially if it's got big chunks and it's not cooked. So I thought we'll get that great onion flavor in here. And I do this a lot when I'm doing salad dressings that call for some chopped onion. I just take a microplane, or you can do a box cheese grater, and grate some of the onion in here. Now, Ann is also a big fan of that because, again, you can get that great onion flavor without getting big chunks of onion. So that's a little tip and trick for you. A little bit more. So about a tablespoon or so. And this, again, you're not really going to be able to measure this, but you'll get the idea. Just going to give this a nice hint of onion flavor without, getting pieces of onion in here. And for a salad dressing, that's kind of nice to do. Okay. Now, I've got a pinch of salt, about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, give it some great flavor. 1/3 of a cup of either red wine or just white distilled vinegar. If you don't have a red wine vinegar, you don't have to go out and get it. I have a whole area in my pantry that basically has different oils and different vinegars, 2 different shelves, so that when I go to make a salad dressing, I don't have to look all over the whole pantry to find what I'm looking for. So, some of the vinegars I collect, balsamic vinegar, which is that real dark brown vinegar, red wine vinegar, which is, you'll find that in a lot of Italian vinaigrettes. Just a white distilled vinegar is always great to have on hand. It makes a great house cleaner too. You can wash your windows with it, do your floors with it, or, use it in, certain dressings. It's pretty strong, so it works in this dressing, but in a lot of dressings it's a little bit strong. It works in some coleslaw dressings and things like that. So I like to also collect like a white wine vinegar, which is a little bit milder, or a rice wine vinegar, which is wonderful and mild and great in a lot of Asian dressings. Apple cider vinegar, of course, that's something that we're all pretty familiar with. So, and then I start collecting some of the more fun gourmet type vinegars. You know, I have like a blood orange vinegar, a strawberry balsamic vinegar. So whenever I go to see you know, some fun different vinegars, I'll start collecting those. And then same goes for oils. We're going to do a third of a cup. Again, we'll eyeball it of the red wine vinegar. But the different oils I collect are just pretty standard: olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, sesame seed oil, which comes in a littler bottle and really packs a great punch when you're doing Asian dressings. And then, you know, collecting more of the fun, like we did fun vinegar, some of the more fun flavored olive oils. Right now I have in my pantry a garlic flavored olive oil, which I love, and a Tuscan herb flavored olive oil. So, you know, that's the basics of starting making your homemade dressings. I'm also doing, this is a sweet and sour dressing. So we've got the ketchup, which is, you know, more, you know, savory, Worcestershire sauce, the vinegar. I'm going to do about half of a cup of sugar to sweeten it up a little bit, and 1 cup of oil. I always add the oil last. Even if I'm shaking it up in a jar, get the first of the ingredients combined. I want to get the sugars and the spices all kind of in there if I'm using different herbs. And then I'm adding my oil. This is going to make a nice big batch of dressing. You don't have to use it all. In fact, normally when I'm making salad dressings, I don't use it all. Keep the leftovers in a jar and use them another time. So this is going to make lots of dressing, and I just want to really whisk it together to combine the oil with the rest of the ingredients. Kind of like, looks like a homemade Russian dressing. And that's it. I mean, how easy is that? And oh wow, what a difference it makes when you make your own dressing. I mean, there's nothing like it. It's a spinach salad. Doesn't get much easier than this. Just went to the grocery store, got a nice big bag of spinach. And this is one of those salads that this can be dinner. Certainly you could serve it with, you know, as a side, and serve it with chicken or fish or pork or some of the other dishes that we're going to make today. But sometimes just a nice big salad is what you're craving for dinner, and this one's got it all. Lots going on. Red onion sliced. I love red onion in salads. And just, you know, I've sliced it up in pretty little pieces so that people that aren't onion fans can, you know, take it out. We've got some cooked crumbled bacon. You can certainly cheat and buy the bacon that's already cooked for you at the grocery store. I love the crunch. I like adding fruits and vegetables and nuts to my salad. And in this case, we're going to, you know, keep it kind of savory because we've got that dressing that's a little bit sweeter. So I'm doing 1 can of sliced water chestnuts, which I happen to love. They really add a nice crunch. And you just need to drain those really well. Sometimes I'll take some water and rinse them too, just so they don't have that canned taste. Huge fan of water chestnuts. And then for even more crunch, I've got some bean sprouts. You can buy in the can. Again, you just need to drain them really well, or these happen to be fresh. Didn't used to like those, but now I really have come to like them. I think they've got some great flavor. And now we've got our hard-boiled eggs. So a couple hard-boiled eggs. And you know what? Do they sit for 13 minutes? Because they are not done, Ann. So we're gonna actually, I'm not gonna use these in this. And Ann started them before the show, and they might not have had that full 13 minutes in there. So don't want to use those, and we'll get some more started. But I do want to take the dressing, and you can serve this on the side, or you can just give it a toss. And that's what I normally like to do, is don't overcoat the greens. You don't want this to be real, you know. I've always used to put a ton of dressing on my salads, and now I've learned to just kind of back off and always serve, you can always serve a little bit more on the side for people who like extra. This way you'll kind of taste everything that's in here. Right. And then you can always garnish with what's on top or what's in the salad. So maybe a little bit more onion, a little bit more bacon, and then we'll cook up those hard-boiled eggs a little bit longer. And the recipe for this spinach salad with this wonderful sweet and sour dressing you can find on the website. You can also pick it up at any area Festival Foods.